Welcome to DairyPod, a podcast series from Dairy Australia. Featuring a range of experts, each episode offers insights into Australia's unique dairy farming conditions, as well as personal experiences and the latest in dairy innovation.
My name is Greg Duncan and I'm the Farm Business Program Lead at Dairy Australia. Today I'm joined by two dairy farmers, Rachael Napier from Deniliquin, who is current chair of the Murray Dairy Board, and Paul Bennett from Tasmania, member of the Dairy Australia Board and chair of Ashgrove Cheese. Rachael and Paul and I are here today to talk about the priorities that dairy farmers across the country have shared with Dairy Australia to help inform the new Dairy Australia strategic plan. Thank you both for joining me today, Rachael and Paul. Before we get started, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your background in the dairy industry? Rachael, we might start with you.
Yeah, g'day, Greg. I'm Rachael Napier, and I have a passion for all farming systems. And I actually moved over the ditch when I was a whippersnapper with my parents. And currently I'm dairy farming in the Southern Riverina in the Dairy Australia Murray region. I'm a dairy farmer and currently chair of the Murray Dairy Board. As I said, I'm a generational dairy farmer and have been farming myself for close to 30 years. My partner and I have a grazing loosen system with a PMR on our dairy, milking around 250 to 300 cows. And I'm here to chat to you guys today in my role as the Murray Dairy Board Chair.
Fantastic, Rachael. Great to have you on board. So, Paul, over to you. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, Greg. Yes, I've been dairy farming ever since I left school at age of 17. Joined my father and my uncle on the farm, milking 240 cows. I'm now currently owner and manager of Ashgrove Farms, Tasmania, in partnership with some family members. We're milking 3,500 cows over 5 farms. We also run an extensive dairy beef operation, running about 4,000 dairy beef. We have 5 farms, 5 herds. We run those in between 500 to 1,000 cows, depending on the herds. And we also have developed our own family value-adding business in Ashgrove Cheese and Milk, which supplies cheese right across the country. We export a little, and we also probably the major independent supplier of bottled milk into Tasmania.
Absolutely fantastic. I know you're both very busy people. Let's get into it today. So let's start by talking about why Dairy Australia went across the country to hear from farmers and the industry and what we mean when we say strategic plan. So Paul, why does Dairy Australia need a strategic plan?
Oh, it's pretty simple, Greg. Dairy Australia has developed a strategic plan, and this now becomes our roadmap for the next 5 years as we take steps towards realising our vision and each individual farmer's vision of where the industry should be over the next 5 years. It's important that we have this roadmap, and this roadmap enables us to target what we need to in the industry so that the levy can be spent in areas that really focus on the best benefit and impact back to the dairy farmers to help drive their profitability and sustainability on farm.
Fantastic. And the strategic plan coming up will focus from July this year and run through to 2030. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Dairy Industry always has 5-year strategic plans. This year, we put a lot of effort into developing this so that we can really track the benefit and the success of the plan going forward, so that farmers can hold us to account in how their levy's spent and whether we achieve what we set out to achieve.
Absolutely fantastic. So it's a bit like a roadmap, right? Good to have. Well, Rachael, we might hear from you now. You know, it's important for Dairy Australia's strategic plan to meet the needs of farmers in the industry, right? Rachael, from your perspective, has Dairy Australia been listening to dairy farmers?
Oh, absolutely, Greg. There was an extensive industry-wide consultation plan with in-person and online workshops for farmers and other industry stakeholders right across a range of locations. And we have to thank COVID for that. I think it's really kicked us all into gear with online technology, which has made communicating so much easier and easier to reach people who, we're all affected by the tyranny of distance as farmers. So in the Murray region, we had a meeting in Echuca, went for about 3 hours, I think, and we had about probably 70 people attend, which was really, really good. Because as you know, we're all busy on farm and it's hard to make time to contribute when we're asked. But obviously it was an important opportunity for a lot of people. And we discussed some really great topics, labour always comes up, and obviously it came up again, attracting, retaining, all those touch points with labour. Energy is really coming up as an issue for a lot of people. Carbon, just simple red tape with trying to apply technologies on farm. So there were a lot of really, really good topics discussed that we'll see come through at the other end, I'm certain, with the end product, with the strategic plan. There was also, after that, Australia-wide consultation process. We all met in Melbourne, myself and the chairs of the other RDPs across Australia, Dairy Australia, Advocacy. There was some large herd representation in the room as well, which was fantastic. And that was the chance for us all to see how the 5-year plan is starting to come together and give another round of feedback. So that was facilitated very well. We were broken into smaller groups, so everybody got heard. And so from my perspective, I think Dairy Australia have done a really good job at capturing everybody's thoughts and giving everybody an opportunity to contribute. So it's really good.
Good stuff. Thanks heaps for those insights. So, Paul, we've heard a bit about Rachael's experiences on the way Dairy Australia has connected with farmers across Australia regarding the strategic plan. What's your opinion? Do you think Dairy Australia has been listening to dairy farmers?
Dairy Australia's absolutely been listening to dairy farmers. Myself as a board member, other board members I know have got out and about to a lot of industry events, industry days, whatever, and have been asking for feedback and what people want. Conversely, too, I think that the team led by Pina and that going out and developing the strategic plan down in my region in Tassie, they came down three times to organise farmer meetings and that. And it wasn't really till the third time that we got really big engagement by the farmers and had sort of, probably over 100 farmers engage out of the 300 that are in the state. And I know that they've all been listened to. We can't do everything everyone wants, but it's really important that we have listened and all those things have gone back in the feedback to make the plan. And it's a really diverse plan because Australia is a continent. It's not just New Zealand where you have one system of farming. We've got, tropical farmers using kikuyu grass. You've got guys down, south of me that are, closer to the Antarctic than they are to the guys in Queensland. And they're driving ryegrass. You've got guys in the middle that have gone with the American barn system, and you have, intensive grass farmers down here in Tassie. So we've got limited funds. We've got to do the best by everyone and really try and address the needs of every different segment that Australia has. And some of those are long-term vision segments, and other ones are ones that are reacting like we're seeing right here today with massive flood damage done up in New South Wales and drought down in the southwest, South Australia and into Tasmania. So it's not an easy task by any means to deliver a plan that tracks us for the next 5 years, and also then keeping our eye and doing what needs to be done in a day-to-day basis. And a lot of those are often emergencies, whether they be floods, droughts, bushfires, animal health outbreaks, whatever it is, we have to be still flexible enough to respond to with this plan. But to answer the question, farmers, industry providers and everyone has been really included and had the opportunity and will have the opportunity over the next 5 years to continually comment and give us feedback on how we are progressing with the plan.
Yeah, it's a big country with diverse needs in the industry, isn't it? So during these regional consultation processes, we've heard directly from farmers and industry, as you've mentioned. What are some of the things, though, that they're saying are as important for them and their farm businesses? Rachael, we might come to you first.
So, Greg, from what I've seen, Dairy Australia is putting farm profitability front and centre of their plans, and that's really important. It underpins everything. So there's a balance of supporting farmers with shorter term challenges and opportunities, looking at what they can do right now with tools and resources that are already available to suit their farm, like understanding drivers of milk value, feeding smarter, and then as Paul touched on earlier, there's also always a suite of stuff in the library for drought tactics and managing wet conditions. But then there's the longer term, looking to the future and continuing with research and development to drive productivity and innovation, especially when it comes to feed. We need to keep looking and thinking about what's over the next horizon for dairy.
Fantastic. So, Paul, same question to you. What are some of the things that we've heard from farmers and industry that they say are important to their farm businesses?
I think they're the things that have always been important. And the number one right off the bat is profitability. If we're not profitable, we do not have an industry. So profitability is a key to everything. It's really what's going to drive farmers' ability to be successful and sustainable in the future. And profitability doesn't mean we're picking one type of farming. Profitability means we're giving every farmer the tools to make the best decisions to make their system work to the best of its ability. People is always huge. Wherever we go, we talk about people. Attracting people to work on farms, how do we train people to work on farms, and how do we keep people working on farms? And from a personal point of view, is how do we show young people that are starting out like I did as a 17-year-old that there is a future in this industry and this industry can absolutely be great for you. There's never been a better wealth-generating industry in Australia, but we often lose the fact that how good it has been for people of my generation. Okay, we've had to work exceptionally hard for it, but there's been a lot of success stories, and we need to probably showcase those to the next generation. Sustainability must be front and centre, but speaking to a lot of people too, it was about not just being sustainably on farm and sustainable environmentally. There was also wishing the community to recognise what we do and how much we are worth to the community. And also there was a big message I got that the industry and the farmers wanted to feel proud of themselves in the industry. We often hear negative press, and they're looking for groups like Dairy Australia to lead the social change of just recognising how good the industry is, how good our products are, and just how vital it really is for both health and nutrition and the economics of regional towns. Productivity must be addressed. We've always got to keep getting better and better at what we do, but we can't just have productivity by expecting people to work harder. We've got to have productivity that makes life easier, makes life more attractive for staff coming in. And so there's a lot of stuff coming out now with robotics, technology, data, AI, that we're really only seeing the tip of the iceberg of what that can do. And I guess we're looking for, people are looking for a body like Dairy Australia to help us lead us through that new revolution of blue sky technology that's coming through.
Sounds pretty exciting, especially in that productivity space, as we see these new elements of data and technology come into an industry that really helps make more informed decisions, right, Paul?
Yeah, I think that the productivity won't come from lifting cow numbers. My generation went through that where we, milked 200 cows in a herd and we went at 1,500, and now we've come back to 700 to 800 because not many people enjoy walking into a dairy to put the cups on 12 or 1,500 cows every day, 7 days a week. You'll do that for yourself, but your employees aren't going to do that long term. So there's a real sweet spot there that we can, make dairying attractive for people, put the technology in that takes the grunt work out of milking cows, and really have some exciting stuff. If you look at the modern dairies now with touch screens, data control, individual feeding, drafting cattle out, we can put in a computer and say, spitting the last worst 10 producing cows out tomorrow if I need some to go to the thing. Or we just got a dairy now that's got will give us individual quarter milking cell counts.
Wow.
And so you're actually, the cow is judged on an individual quarter as opposed to against other cows. So, and that's giving us the ability to really, manage animal health problems at a level which we've never had before. And let alone, down here in Tassie, people have gone nuts for the halter collars and the virtual herding, the virtual fencing. It would be on 30, 40% of the cows now. And that's a whole new technology and a whole new way of farming that's really exciting to the younger generation.
Yeah, good stuff, Paul. So what I'm hearing is that the strategic plan can really be summarised or grouped into 4 major themes: profitability, people, productivity, and sustainability, right? So I know the Dairy Australia team have put together a summary of what we've heard in the regional consultation playbacks, and this can be found on the Dairy Australia website, right?
Yeah, the website's the go-to for all things for people, information on dairy. And often a lot of farmers do not use the resource that's there, from the new strategic plan to even simple things like Rachael said on tactics for dry times, wet times, calf rearing. And if it's not there, there's a question and answer session where people can fire stuff into Dairy Australia and get an answer back.
Fantastic. Good insights. So, Rachael, Dairy Australia's new strategic plan is in the final stages of development. What's your sense of how farmer input is truly shaping Dairy Australia's priorities?
Well, farmer input's everything, Greg. That's why Dairy Australia is here, to listen and, enact on what's comes under their scope. And I think that when the strategic plan comes out, it's going to show us what areas DA have picked up that they're able to enact on and what's happening moving forward. Given also there's potentially some things that farmers haven't highlighted that are, happening in the future that Dairy Australia have picked up and popped in there too. So I'm looking forward to seeing the draft form and away we go.
Good stuff, Rachael. And I know as a farmer, you often have sort of short-term needs that really need responding to. And then it's also this longer-term aspect, keeping an eye on the horizon, isn't it? How do you feel the strategic plan might address both the short-term and long-term needs? Do you think we've got that balance about right?
I think so, Greg. We all need to remember when we're reading these documents as farmers that it's not a personalised document for my farm, it's for everyone's farm. And things that are going to be really important to me probably aren't going to be that important to Paul down in Tasmania, but it's going to be there because he needs it. It's such a massive and diverse country. We've already talked this morning about how we've got horrific flooding in New South Wales and really bad drought in southwest Victoria. So clearly everybody needs something different, and I'm pretty pleased in actual fact that it's not me that's in charge of putting the strategic plan together because, it's pretty tricky.
I can just imagine. So, Paul, maybe your perspective, again, Dairy Australia's strategic plan is now in the final stages of development. What's your sense on how farmer input is shaping Dairy Australia's priorities?
Well, probably if I approach it this way, Greg, is just over 18 months ago, and I joined the Dairy Australia board. They started this process just before I joined on the new strategic plan. I went to the first meeting and the scope was just so wide. I just thought there's absolutely no way this is going to come together. There's been a phenomenal amount of work gone into this. Farmers probably only see the little bit of consultation in their region, the little bit of the meetings they've been to, but they have literally been, from north to south, east to Western Australia, everywhere in between, and have consulted widely. They've brought this plan in, and I'm quite excited as a board member to bring it to the general farming population that actually pay for this. These are the guys, my contemporaries, that pay for this. We've really simplified it. We've brought it down into, this very 3x3 strategic areas, focusing on profitability, people, productivity, sustainability. Each of them have a roadmap at going forward out of those things because they're all different directions and for different regions. And people will really be able to, probably for the first time, look at this going forward and also look back in a few years' time and go, that was money well spent or we could have done better. From a board member's point of view on that, I know we've consulted really widely, and that's our commitment, and my commitment is that at the end of the day, when I go down the street and talk to my neighbouring dairy farmers, I can look them in the eye and say we did the best we could with your levy money going forward, and always treat it that way so that we can get the best outcome for the dairy industry, which is, going through a really hard time over the next 5 years, and we can come out of it in a really strong position with, a lot of young people seeing a great future in it.
Fantastic, Paul. Well, we've certainly covered a lot of ground in today's discussion on the development of Dairy Australia's new strategic plan. Everyone, we're pleased to know it will be released soon. But in the meantime, if you're interested in what farmers and the industry have said is a priority for them in each of their dairying regions, then by all means head to the Dairy Australia website. Paul and Rachael, thanks heaps for your time today. It's been a real pleasure speaking with you both.
Thank you for joining today's DairyPod episode. We hope you found it enjoyable and insightful. For more information, check out the episode notes. You can stay up to date by following DairyPod on your favourite podcast platform. To get in touch, visit dairyaustralia.com.au. Until next time, take care.